MAGA Mike Johnson was caught unprepared for the near immediate exit of Republican Representative Ken Buck.
Supporting this TikTok bill.
I was surprised by Ken's announcement. I'm looking forward to talking with him about that.
You know it's about Trump not supporting this TikTok bill.
Well, I didn't know. I'm going to have to talk to him about that. What's there to talk about? He announced early on Tuesday on social media that he will depart Congress at the end of next week. Whoa! He said, I look forward to staying involved in our political process, as well as spending more time in Colorado with my family. Wait, that's less than a 2-week notice. That is quite the surprise, especially since he previously said, yes, I'm going to retire, but I'm going to serve out the rest of my term, right? So that's November. Very, very early. So this also hurts Republicans, which, by the way, I don't mind. Go ahead. But it makes their already razor-thin majority in the House even thinner, which means, of course, they're going to have to work with Democrats if they want to get anything done. And, of course, well, that's one of the big problems, actually, that Ken Buck was pointing out is we can't do anything. We're not going to do anything at all. In fact, on CNN, he said this, quote, "It is the worst year of the 9 years and 3 months that I've been in Congress. And worst year in 40 to 50 years. He also described the House as dysfunctional and said that instead of having decorum, instead of operating in a professional manner, this place has just devolved into this bickering and nonsense and not really doing the job for the American people. Which I say, of course, welcome to governance under the current Republican Party. What did you expect when you've got the Marjorie Greens and the Lauren Boeberts and all the, Matt Gaetz and Trey Gowdy, all these crazy people, okay, that are saying and doing all these crazy things, holding these ridiculous hearings on Hunter Biden and all of this nonsense. What did you expect, honestly? It's a clown show. It's a madhouse, all right? All the Republicans ought to be wearing clown shoes and the little red noses. That's it. So, yes. Now, here's the thing, too, right? Getting back to the bipartisanship. There used to be a bit of a gentleman's agreement between the two parties, which is, unfortunately, they both would help the rich whenever they can, because they themselves are rich, and they would help defense contractors by passing increases in the military budget and helping out with the selling weapons to other countries. And in return, sometimes Republicans would let Democrats get a win on social policy, like helping poor people. Nowadays, Republicans say no to everything. Not just, the helping poor people, because they despise poor people, but they also say no to the defense contractors. And so, oh no, what are you guys doing? You are no longer honoring the gentleman's agreement to help defense contractors and the rich. You're saying no to aid to Ukraine, where defense contractors will sell a lot of weapons to Ukraine or sell weapons to the United States government that will then give them to Ukraine, which, again, helps our donors in the defense industry. What are you doing? Now, look, one of the most recent bills that Republicans have tanked, and yes, this is in the Senate, but it also was a bipartisan agreement in the House, which was the immigration bill. Okay, that would have funded Ukraine's military and massively curtailed asylum, something that Republicans would have loved. I mean, that would have been a gigantic win for them. But Senate Republicans tanked it because of Donald Trump. And there were Republicans in the House that also were like, hey, if it would come back here, then we probably would have, tanked it as well. And it's because of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump runs a party. Donald Trump wanted that legislation to fail so that he could rail against the Democrats on immigration. Oh, don't blame it on the border. Everything's going wrong at the border because they're Democrats. And over here, Joe Biden's sitting like, I will sign this incredibly draconian bill. Just send it to my desk. Send it to my desk. So, again, Republicans tanking their own dream bills to own the libs. Now, Ken Buck, who I don't agree with policy on anything. Okay, let's be very clear about that. Ken Buck is extreme. His policy positions are very, very far right-wing. But he's looking at what's going on in Congress and saying, we're not even getting the stuff that we want, even though the Democrats are more than willing to roll over for us, in order to get maybe something that they want, Ukraine funding, for example, and we're not doing it. We're not getting any of the stuff that we want. And by the way, what Ken Buck wants is massive cuts to the safety net for poor people. Okay, massive cuts to the budget. He wants to take a chainsaw to the budget, which, again, because of the lack of leadership, because of all the infighting, they're not able to have any united front on any of this stuff. And so, yeah, he's right that they're just sabotaging themselves. And again, all the pointless infighting that's happened, the ousting of Kevin McCarthy, which, by the way, Buck also voted to oust Kevin McCarthy. And so he's part of the problem. And now he's like, yeah, man, ooh, boy, we really messed up on this one. Ouch. Now, I want to go to what he told CNN host Dana Bash. Quote, everywhere I go in Colorado, Dana, I hear that people are not happy with Trump. This is right after he announced his 2-week retirement, okay? He said, they're not happy with President Joe Biden, they're not happy with Trump, and I think we need to change our electoral laws here, and I have a passion for that. He had also previously challenged Trump's election lies after announcing his retirement. Trump responded, of course, by saying he knew long ago that he could never win against MAGA, so now he is, like some past and present, auditioning for a network television job. You know what? Great. Good for him. Beats having to kiss Trump's ass to keep your job. Because that's what all current Republicans now have to do. They have to bend the knee, kiss Trump's ring, ass, whatever he wants, in order to keep their jobs. So, again, I massively disagree with Buck's policies and his politics, his positions, but I do at least respect the fact that he's not bending the knee. I also really enjoy the fact that he's exposing Mike Johnson as being a completely feckless, powerless leader that cannot even control his caucus at all, because members have absolutely no respect for him whatsoever. Less respect than they had for Kevin McCarthy. And the reason Kevin McCarthy commanded some respect is because he was the money man. He was able to raise millions and millions of dollars. Mike Johnson, not doing so well. The Republican Party, the RNC, not doing so well when it comes to fundraising. Now, here's another fun little bit of information. A Buck spokesperson had actually told reporter Olivia Beavers that Buck had actually informed Mike Johnson of his intention to retire early. Left him a voicemail about 30 minutes prior to the announcement on social media. Hey, this is Ken. Just giving you a little bit of a heads up. I'm about to retire. F off. See you later.
That's it. See you later.
I'm gone. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. No, that's a middle finger if I've ever seen one. That's great. Oh, I love it. Oh, too much fun. Look, it's too bad that he didn't find out via Twitter, because, the reporter ended up telling him about it and said, oh, I didn't know about this. Wow, I had no idea. Imagine him, because it's probably easier to, it's easier to pull up Twitter than to check your voicemail. Voicemail, you got to go in, and depending on the voicemail system you have, you got to enter, code or whatever to get into your voicemail. No, easier to find, social media. And you see this, and like, you did what? Son of a. Either way, this is a hilarious disaster for Republicans. I'm here for it.